What is going on, everybody? We are back with the HellaDepraved 2022 Shocktober celebration. Top 50 most evil songs as according to Kerrang. I'm Depraved.
I'm Hellcat.
And together we are...
HellaDepraved.
She's still trying to breathe through the spice.
It's a good spice.
Super excited for this because it's weird.
I'm excited by the name.
This is Cradle of Filth. Now, I have never been the biggest Cradle of Filth fan.
No, they're a little hardcore for you.
Right. This one mixes hardcore with weird.
Okay.
At least to me.
Pretty normal. Yeah.
To me. I like the name of it, Death Magic for Adepts.
That's why I'm excited. I like it.
Right.
Okay. It's promising.
And this isn't under a major label.
Oh, cool.
Which is great, considering I had to fight for the AC/DC one, fuckers. But I am super excited for this. So, just to give everybody a heads up, what we're doing with the top 50 most evil songs of all time, we are listening. We are reading the lyrics as it plays. We are discussing the lyrics in between pauses and things of that nature. At the end of it, we will read the genius description of what this song is about, which this one doesn't have one, so we're going to forgo that. And then we will read Kerrang's reasoning for it being on the list and then decide if we agree with him or not and if it will be on our Halloween playlist or not.
Right.
Them. Agree with them or not. I don't know if it's a him or her that created the Kerrang list.
Right.
Because Kerrang's a magazine, so.
Better to just go with them.
Right. So, we're going to react to this. If you guys have already seen it, if not, click the link in the description below. Hop on over to all things coming back. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is number... we're skipping 37, which is Dark Throne in the Shadows of Horns. This is number 36.
Okay.
All
right.
We're going to react to this, all the normal mumbo-jumbo stuff. We're going to pause for whatever reason we feel like pausing for. If you guys want to watch the song in its entirety or listen to it in its entirety, click the link in the description below and do all the things. So, it is time to slash and break it down. This is Cradle of Filth with Death Magic for... What the fuck are you doing?
Adepts.
Adepts. Let's get it. Alright, so before we get into weirdness...
I really like the ominous sound to it.
It has a very gothic, cathedral-esque...
Yeah, almost like the organs playing. Yeah.
Right, which fits well with the cover, with the weird centipede guy and the chick.
It's almost like a twisted Alice in Wonderland labyrinth look.
Right.
Or what was, Tim Curry was the Legend. Did you ever see that?
No.
Legend was the Lucifer dude. I mean, I don't remember his name, but he was the bad guy. And he looked like everyone's stereotypical Satan. Red, the horns. So, the dude in the clouds there. Yeah. It's a good movie.
I told you, weird.
Oh, well, it's kind of like almost like a madhouse circus sound.
He sounds very much on this
I meant
song.
the instrumental, but yeah.
Well, hi. He sounds what I would picture the Red Queen sounding like if she were to...
Off with their head. I don't know.
Baby.
I mean, it's definitely verging on, goblin core.
It is, but not in a... I don't know. It still sounds different to me.
Yeah, no, it is. But it's verging on it. But I'm not sure I like how it went from that gothic, ominous... I mean, like, unless you're thinking you like opened a door and all of a sudden the world went nuts.
Right.
I don't know.
So lyrically, he says, "Come, distortured artists, bitter things seek meaning, even if they're madness to behold. Once forebears to horizons, where the dead stayed dreaming. Now nightmares awaken souls that fear the living's toll."
Okay. Okay.
Are you as confused as I am?
Sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, the whole artist seeking meaning, even if it's madness, makes sense.
Right. The first 3 lines make sense.
Right. But once forebears to horizons where the dead stayed dreaming. So maybe like, once the dawn of a new day, so new beginnings, and the dead stayed where they were supposed to be. Instead of having those hopes and dreams, there's now nightmares, and it's wakening souls that should not be alive. So it's the dead no longer stay dreaming. They're awake and,
Right.
Okay. I do like the tonal change in the voice.
I told
there.
you, when I was
like
listening through and skimming through it, again, I wasn't like listening to the songs.
Right.
I was just listening to how it sounded to make sure it was something I could stomach. And I was like, this is just weird enough, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's not something I think, we'll get to that later, but...
It's cool. It's kind of cool.
I was like, this is interesting.
Okay, so artists 3 times Moonwise, so...
Alright, so Goya, Bosch, Bruegel are
Artists.
all painters known for their dark, infernal scenery.
Yeah.
Francisco Goya produced late in his life a series of works now called the Black Paintings, most famous of which is Saturn devouring his son, a deranged giant tearing apart a body. Whatever his first name,
shit.
right? Whatever his first name is, Bosch. It's like
Hieronymus. Jesus Christ.
That's why I tried not to even bother.
Yeah.
Often depicted outlandish demonic creatures such as in the triptych The Garden of Earthly Delights, which features Eden, Paradise, and Hell. And John Bruegel, the elder, was nicknamed Hell Bruegel for his scenes of Hades and Hell. So all dark artists.
Mm-hmm.
It says 3 times Moonwise stain thy graves. For words alone are at a loss to trace the face of today's inhuman wraith.
Right. Well, so he had said, come all you distortured artists who seek truth, even if it leads to madness. And they would be good examples of the tortured artist, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
One half adrift in the vast abyss of despair and misery. The other a mask of rich red lips wetted by the fevers of belief and greed.
I mean, yeah. They're tortured artists, so there's despair and misery, and the other part of them is belief and greed, which is honestly why they painted a whole bunch of religious type scenes, but hellish scenes,
Right.
Rich red lips, wetted by the fevers of belief and greed. This inferno in the verge of the bird's eyes. From the black mass mutual gangway of seizing hands and force divine. Trespass these 7 gates. The world not led to shades. Where seraphim bleed in the golden coming master.
Okay. Sounds like he's singing almost specifically about Dante's Inferno.
Right. All damned in this inferno.
Inferno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All damned in this inferno, where even Virgil averts his eyes. Which
Yeah.
Virgil is in reference to...
Virgil's a poet, and he's the one that takes the trip in Dante's Inferno.
Right.
That's what made me say it, is the name.
From the Black Mass Mutual gang rape of ceasing hands and forced divides.
Okay.
Again, talking about everything that is seen here is so bad that even Virgil would avert his attention to it.
And he's the one that...
And he's the one that traveled the however many circles of hell there are.
Right.
And
All right.
from the Black Mass Mutual gang rape of ceasing hands and forced divides is really just kind of...
Describing some of the other scenes down there, yeah.
Right. Trespass these 7 gates to a world bloodlit to shades, where seraphim bleat of their cold incoming master's race, in the sewers of Babylon, stillborn to a anon.
Trough.
Anon. Should be an F there.
There should not.
There should be. That's not how it's spelled, but that should be. Chimericles will hatch like plots, or chimericals. One of those. Will hatch like plots to dredge
Feces. To pearl their cross. So, yeah. To scoop up poop.
Right.
Yeah. So, the 7 gates, that's definitely something, in hell. To a world bloodlet to shades. I mean, everybody's dead. And it sounds like the apocalypse, the coming of the apocalypse.
Right.
Because they're talking about, the master's race coming, sewers of Babylon, which obviously fell. Dear God. Okay, so I'm not sure where they're going with this. If it's supposed to be prophetic or if it's supposed to be describing what's going on.
Right.
Yep.
But
But I do, again, I like that they're doing all these different voices.
Me too.
Makes it a little bit more interesting, makes it sound like there's more than one person talking to you.
Right. Alright, before we get into the weird tempo change there. Interpenta Holocaust. 5 aeons passed, yet still man grasps at final straws to save his caste. His lord is a leper we shall not want. He betrayed us with white lies. His acrid paw, as of the tomb, reminds us of how we rot inside.
Their lord's dead.
True.
And yet man still tries to find ways to save himself. Honestly, that's a trait of humanity. We're always going to try and save our own skin. But they took part of the Lord's prayer in vain. Or they changed it around there to take it in vain with the first line where it was like, we shall not want. It's like, or is it the Lord's? No, it's the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And he said, his Lord is a leper, we shall not want. So, yeah.
All right, into this tempo change.
There's been quite a few.
underbowed and cankered wounds. Earthly scorched earth, deep cotton gut, burning under both with torpor. Directly I'll bring to rest. Let's bleed all left without innocent for a stripped and ravished finish.
Alright. Gutted like Fool's Paradise, gutted on cruel appetites, and then there was a little bit of playing, and it would sound like a little vomit sound. Oh. Holding court to chaos, folding to far graver arms. A downfall fatal to all resounds as orgies peak in self-centered psalms. So, self-centered music is being played, people having orgies.
I mean, honestly, it's hedonistic chaos.
Right. And nature screams her sufferings under bowed and cankered wings. A bleak, scorched earth, necrotica burning like the robes we've torn from her.
We're pillaging the earth. We're stripping it.
Right.
Yeah.
She begs us, lay her pain to rest, lest we are left with nothingness, save for her stripped and ravaged flesh.
We're headed that way.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Maybe prophetic indeed. This is an older song, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Finish. And if a fate is not important of a bomb can live, stand the comets and waste night skies. We'll surely cleanse all wrongs and rights when you and I get all out. It's rotting down. This Congress metropolis. Interdependence is worse than the crime. All of true life is now. Christ cannot save. Not in the wounds of evermore frontier steps. Smells of regret and marching for redempts.
Okay. Alright.
Alright.
Basically, like, if the death of the earth isn't a portent of the apocalypse, like, you know, then maybe the comets that hit Earth, or maybe when everybody dies, or, you know. I love how they play with words here. Like, when they say, we'll surely cleanse of wrongs and rights, where we would normally say wrongs and rights. It's Reich as in, you know, the Reich or empire, basically. Or we'd normally say megatropolis, and instead he uses the word maggotropolis, you know. Because he is talking about a decaying world. Yeah.
And then he even goes through and mentions Allah and Christ.
Well, he said we're interdependent. Like, so interdependent as worms to the grave. Basically, no matter what anyone thinks, everyone bleeds red. We are all the same, especially in the grave. So, yeah, Alicant is the same as Christ in terms of what they can do in terms of saving humanity. Yeah. All right.
It's a long song.
It is.
Be prepared to fulfill prophecy. The glory has fallen the sin dynasty. Granted the cruel and reports. Granted life for paradise.
Alright, we're in the home stretch.
Another change. I like it.
Woven hearts, a thorn harbor, left tears streak to reason upon the shore, and bereft of compass, star or more, set out for this world's end. Few at the prow, most slave below, painting coal a perfect gold. But for all it's worth, the engine's slow, dead in the brine again. Tongue cabin fever, sodomy on the bounty, pray for ballast seas that hiss and foam to douse disease. A storm roars on the way. blot out my death in dark wood glades. Our ship of fools, all lords and made, sinks, dashed by seismic.
All right.
I really like the instrumental at the end there.
There was a section here I really liked that he said. I gotta find it. It was pray to phallus seas, which is actually a double entendre, because it also could be pray to fallacies.
Right. They've done that a whole lot here, which is why I was pointing out some of the ones that they came up with that is fantastic. And they are talking about, like, fool's gold, basically. Like, life, the way that it's been lived hedonistically and feeling like we're all special was fool's gold. Like, painting coal a perfect gold. It doesn't make it worth more. But they... What was the other one that they used? Blacker than the Ace of Rapes versus Ace of Spades. You know, they've had quite a few that they have switched around nicely. Yeah. So they are talking about the end of the world, though.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna let the rest of this play out. Pretty sure that was the nuke going off.
Honestly, I really like the instrumental. About halfway through to the end.
Right.
I mean, I'm not one for power metal. I don't like it's not that I dislike it. It's just that I can't take much of it. It's too uppity for me. So the first part, the carnival ride kind of thing, isn't for me. It's too chaotic for me almost. But the second half of it, I really enjoyed.
All right, so this came out in 2000.
Okay.
And Kerrang says, always ones for adding theatrics to their music. Here, Danny Filth paints a picture of a Sodom and Gomorrah scenario with no small amount of skill. But how to really bring out the hellish chaos erupting all around, you get one of Hell's stewards to lend their terrifying voice to the track. That is to say, Hellraiser actor Doug Bradley, who was the guy voicing at the end.
The end. I knew I recognized it from somewhere.
Whose performance makes you worried to look out your window, lest you see hell emptying itself onto the lawn.
I don't know. I always found him rather entrancing.
Right. All right. As far as how it pertains to the list,
We have such sights to show you.
I feel like this falls into the same category as the last one we did.
It's apocalyptic. It's a religious standpoint evil.
Right. Because at this point, I don't think of the apocalypse or any apocalypse that could happen as necessarily evil as much as it is a necessity to get us off this fucking planet.
I mean, an apocalypse isn't necessarily evil. Like, a huge comet that takes out the entire world all at once is fine.
Right.
But I mean, it's talking about more than that in terms of, like, the hedonistic devolvement of humanity before the end.
Right.
And in that capacity, it is a lot more evil because an anarchist, hedonistic society, it would be a free-for-all. All the sins that anybody wanted to commit would be happening all the time because we'd know that we're all getting wiped out pretty soon. So religiously, this would be considered evil, and therefore I can understand why it made the list. This is definitely not like something I'd listen to and I'd go, oh god, that song's evil.
Right.
Personally. Yeah.
As far as it definitely fits a spoopy vibe. Especially a lot of the moments in the song where a lot of the instrumental changes and when it goes into a darker tone.
Right. There's a lot of ominous, eerie.
When it pulls back off of the power metal side of it,
Right.
and lets the instruments
Breathe
a little bit.
Lets the listener breathe. Maybe we should be more specific. Yeah.
This is, again, about as far as I can go into any kind of real heavy metal.
Right.
With a couple minor exceptions. Again, when bands use the screaming and growling as emphasis in a song, it doesn't seem to really bother me.
Right. But where it
think
is
of like Ice
the
Night
track.
Kills, they do that a lot.
Right. Where it is the track, it's a little harder.
Right. Now, I don't think I'm going to put it on the Halloween playlist. But it, like, just misses it.
I honestly, again, because of its very strictly religious context, I personally don't think it makes a spooky Halloween type playlist.
I mean, we've had less on our Halloween playlist.
No, I just don't think it does. That's personal choice, but I don't think it does.
For me, it would make it if I wanted to listen to the song more.
Over and over? Right. Okay.
But yeah, this is, again, one of the heavier...
It's pushing it for you, yeah.
Heavier songs on the list. It gets really weird from here.
Okay. I can do weird.
But yeah, so... It's decent, though.
Right. I'm kind of, like, confused as to whether death magic is necessary even for adepts at the point that this whole thing is playing out. They're all gonna die anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Anyway.
I love this album cover, though.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we're done. Will you just sleep? If you guys liked the video, slash that like button, subscribe, but ring the bell for notifications. Comment down below what did you think of Cradle of Filth with Death Magic for Adepts. Also comment down below if there's anything else you guys want to see reacted to. Check the description below for all the things.
Push our buttons. Come join us on our other social media platforms, mostly Twitter if you want a quicker response.
We love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Cannot wait to see you to pray people later. Peace.